Information Officer with the...
We have Larry Singer from the Good Neighbor Alliance. So thank you so much for coming in today. We appreciate having you here.
Thank you, Carol. Grady.
So you're going to be here today to talk about the point in time count and a lot of other things that you're doing in our communities. But I think it's important that we start with the point in time count. It's called the PIT count, and you have to do this every year, not just Cochise County, the whole state of Arizona. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So can you explain a little bit of what that is and what it does and how it impacts us?
Absolutely. Thanks, Carol, and thanks, Grady, for having me. Just wanted to talk a little bit about the point in time count that's coming up the week of the 22nd of January. Point in time is done every year. It's hosted by the Department of Labor, or Department of Housing for Arizona, but more importantly, it comes as a HUD initiative. It's an initiative that basically HUD is interested in determining how many folks that we have out there that is experiencing homelessness. It goes back many, many years, and it really drives funding, which is, of course, important to organizations like mine, Good Neighbor Alliance, which is the homeless shelter here in Sierra Vista, representing Cochise County, along with our sister shelter down in Bisbee. We have lots of programs that go on during the year to help the homeless folks get back on their feet again, establish housing, obviously get food, healthcare items, warmth items, and more importantly, the things that they're going to need to get back into society again and back on their feet. So the point in time count basically allows the state of Arizona to determine what funding streams are required for organizations like mine and throughout the state of Arizona. There are 13 counties in the Continuum of Care organization that allow their organizations to go out once a year, out to the homeless camps, out to the underpasses, street corners, behind Safeway, wherever homeless are trying to find some shelter, some form of existence. We're out there looking for them, talking to them, providing them health care items, items of warmth if they need it, advice, and also conducting a survey that's driven by Department of Housing.
So you do this count every year, and it's a group of people that come together. Law enforcement is included in that, and you find typical areas within the county where people are living in a field, in a tent, and like you said, under overpasses, and you provide data back to the state, which then in turn says, okay, you have this many people that you're trying to help, and then they provide funding for different programs that you have, correct?
Absolutely, Carol. I'll give you a couple of examples. Last year, we had over 300 volunteers in the state of Arizona that were going around and conducting this PIT count, typically during the third week of January. As a result of that count, we talked to over 1,000 folks that are experiencing homelessness. And that's throughout the state. Here in the Sierra Vista, Cochise County area, the number was something on the order of 160. So if you take 13 counties, divided by 1,000, we were pretty high in our numbers. So that just gives you a sense of how many folks there are out there that are really experiencing homelessness, that need help, need shelter, and unfortunately, Good Neighbor Alliance has a very small footprint. We're hoping to grow that through the community support, who's been wonderful, I might add, to helping us get to the point where we can shelter more folks, we can feed more folks. But of course, the first thing we have to do is determine how many there are and how many need help. There are a couple of state programs, as you mentioned, that's driven by this count. One of them is the Rapid Rehousing Program. It's based on a by name list. Those folks that are seriously in need, have been homeless for the longest, and need the most help, they have the highest priority level. So we go out and talk to these folks, we conduct the survey, we report the information back to state, that drives funding. But what really happens on the ground, Carol, is that we have this rapid rehousing program, we have the PATH program, which goes out in the field on a daily basis and talks to homeless folks, provides them personal hygiene items, items of warmth, and also gives them some advice on how they're going to get from where they are today to where they want to be. And that first step is to getting into shelter, getting the food and care, health care, mental hygiene care that they need, so that they can get back on their feet.
And you mentioned that the community helps out a lot too. How can someone get involved and help you guys out?
Well, that's a great point, Grady. One of the things that you can do with result to the point in time count is to get involved by helping us on the week of the 22nd. We're conducting training next Wednesday from 1:30 to 3:30 at Good Neighbor Alliance on 7th. So we have quite a few volunteers already, but if you've got social work background, mental hygiene background, law enforcement background, you've done the pit count before, and you're just interested in helping out, then come on by Good Neighbor Alliance at 420 North 7th Street around 1:30, and we'll get you involved in the training. We'll see what we can do to get you involved in the programs. If you're interested in volunteering, we cook 365 days a year for our homeless folks. We have a shower program for homeless folks that are out there and just need to get cleaned up, need to wash their clothes, need some hot food and a cup of coffee. We do that Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 11 a.m. So folks can come in, get cleaned up, get some food, and then, of course, go back out again. And that allows us to interface with new people that we haven't seen before, get more information about them, and see what we can do to help them.
So you not only have men in this program, you have women, you have children.
Absolutely.
There's just the whole gamut of family units, everything that could be that could be or are homeless right now, and then they need just that extra hand.
Absolutely. Right, my old adage is, people have fallen and they just need a little help to get back up again. There's no disrespect whatsoever. Everybody has issues from time to time, and it's wonderful that the county and the city of Sierra Vista residents have stepped up to the plate and helped us get where we are today.
And just getting information out there, I think, is critical. So thank you again for being here and talking about this particular program and knowing how many you have out there. That's the importance of the count. Knowing how many people are out there and trying to reach out and touch them and tell them that these programs are available, and then transition them from being homeless to having a place to stay, to then having a temporary place to stay, having a permanent place to stay, and then, of course, getting back on your feet and being part of the community again, where you can be seen, because most of our homeless population is not seen.
That's exactly correct, and that's why we value law enforcement to work with us, because they're out there on the streets every day. They see folks on the street. They can pass out information for us, get them back to our shelter so we can help them.
And do you find that there's a difference between people who choose this lifestyle and people who are just falling on hard times and need help?
Yes, there's all kinds of folks in the world, and everybody has their own perspective. And I think, a lot of people don't want the help. They're happy doing what they're doing, and that's fine. Then there's those that just don't trust. And maybe they don't trust the government, and maybe they don't trust law enforcement. Maybe they've had, some bad experience with somebody, so they need to regain that trust. And that's one of the things that we have case managers that work at Good Neighbor Alliance, and they can help transition people's thought processes. There's severe mentally ill folks out there that just need the right treatment plan so that they can get back on their feet. So there's all walks of life, and then there's those that have just fallen. They need help getting back up, and they don't know where to turn. And so this information getting out through KTAN, and we really appreciate your support on that, Grady, is paramount.
And if people need your assistance or they want to help out, how do they get a hold of you one more time?
They can come by Good Neighbor Alliance for a tour. We'll talk to them about how they can help, get on our volunteer program, volunteer to cook one evening, and that's at 420 North 7th Street here in Sierra Vista. You can call our main line at 520-439-0776, and we'll be happy to help you get signed up to help us.
We think